to this new welcome everybody to this new video on types of stems. As we have seen in the last video, the stems are classified based on their adaptations into underground, subaerial and aerial stems. Underground stems are stems that are found within the soil, and these stems are mainly meant for pollination or protection during attacks by animals or conditions like fires. These underground stems remain in the soil and can give rise to new leaves and sustain the plants. So this is pollination. Then it can be used for the storage of food, and also underground stems can be used for vegetative propagation. The second major group are subaerial stems, which grow parallel to the soil and produce roots at regular intervals. And aerial stems, which are those stems that are modified for various uses and are found above the soil. They are not attached to the soil in any way. Now, let us look at the three major groups and the subtypes. And we will be starting with underground stems. The first type of underground stem we see is called rhizome, and it is characteristic of Gingiber officinale. This underground stem is fleshy with stored food and is characterized by the presence of band appearing nodes, and the region between these bands are the internodes. At these nodes, axillary buds or lateral buds are formed, and these can give rise to new leaves or flowering shoots called scapes. There are adventitious roots, which are roots that are produced from the part of the plant other than existing roots. So they are adventitious roots, and these adventitious roots develop from the rhizome, holding it to the soil and helping in absorption of water and minerals. The second type of underground stem is the tuber, which is found in potato, Solanum tuberosum. Here there is an underground branch at the tip of which a swelling appears, and this swelling is the tuber. It has stored food and is characterized by the presence of buds. There are axillary buds and lateral buds, and these axillary buds are also called eyes because of their appearance resembling those of the eye. They are called the eyes. The third type are the bulbs. Bulbs are characteristic of plants like onion, Allium cepa. These stems are flat, whitish, disc-like structures, and they possess axillary buds. From the surface of them, leaves can be produced, and there are terminal buds which can give rise to the vegetative leaves and flowering stems. These stems also are characterized by the occurrence of fleshy scale leaves, as can be seen in onion. The part which is used for edible purposes are the fleshy scale leaves, which store glucose and reserve food. Below the tuber stem, we find adventitious roots, which are responsible for attachment of this modified stem to the soil. The fourth type of underground stem is the corm, which is a massive, large structure that is found within soil, and it is characterized by the presence of nodes possessing the lateral buds, and also there is a terminal bud which gives rise to leaves and the flowering shoot. Lateral buds can produce leaves and can be used for vegetative propagation of this plant. The examples are those of colocasia and amorphophallus. In colocasia as well as in amorphophallus, we find these massive underground stems called the corms. And in both the corm as well as in the bulb, there are coverings called tunics, and a tunicated bulb is the peculiarity of allium cepa, and in corm also we find tunics. Tunics are structures that cover the lateral buds and protect them. These are what are called tunics. So these are the four types of underground stems: the rhizome, tuber, bulb, and corm. Now the next second major type are the subaerial stems, which grow parallel to the soil, and the subtypes include runner. Runner grows parallel to the soil and gives rise to roots at regular intervals, and runners are developed from the base of the stem. Oxalis, this is oxalis, is a characteristic example of a runner. The second type of subaerial stem is the offset, which is characteristic of aquatic plants. Here we see Eichhornia, and down here is Pistia. In both these aquatic plants, there are offsets which are shorter and stout subaerial stems. They are more shorter and stout than the runners. And these subaerial stems develop from the base of leaves and grow entirely on the water surface, giving rise to specialized roots that are used for keeping balance of these plants. The third type is the stolon. Stolon is a subaerial stem which is formed from the base of the leaf. It grows parallel to the soil and gives off roots, and the next stolon emerges from the base of the existing leaf. Example is Fragaria, which we can see here. Fragaria gives off stolons. The fourth type is the sucker, which is found in chrysanthemum and mentha. The sucker is characterized by its upward movement. It grows for a certain distance, producing roots, and after growing for a certain distance or length, it moves vertically upwards, producing new plants, the sucker plants. So from the mother plant, suckers develop in all directions and they grow vertically upwards, producing new sucker plants. So this is called sucker, and example is mentha as well as chrysanthemum. These suckers, as they grow or elongate on the surface of soil, they keep on giving off adventitious roots. There will be the major taproot of the mother plant, and the suckers keep on giving off adventitious roots that help them to attach to the soil. Now the third type is the aerial stem. Aerial stems are the stem modifications that are found entirely above the surface of soil, and it is in contact with the atmosphere. The first one is the thorn, which is a sharp pointed stem meant for protection. Any animal that tries to deal with this plant will be injured due to the pointed sharp structure of the thorn, and this is a aerial stem modification. Both types of buds give rise to thorns. In the case of bougainvillea, here we can see axillary buds develop into thorns, and in Carissa corundus we find that the terminal buds, it is at the tip that thorns are found here. So the terminal buds are the ones that develop into thorns in these cases. The second type is the tendril. Tendril is a slender coiled stem modification produced from the terminal or axillary buds. Tendrils are found in weak stemmed plants which are called climbers. So these plants have stems that are not strong enough to be upright. So they give off tendrils, and these coiled structures, on coming in contact with the support, coil around the support and hold this weak stem upright. So these are tendrils, and they are found in large number of climbers like passiflora, which is passion fruit, vitis, which is grape, and in plants like lathyrus we can find these tendrils that are responsible for holding the plant upright and providing support to these climbers. The third type of aerial stem is the phylloclad, which is found in plants like opentia called cactus. The phylloclads are an adaptation that help in overcoming water scarce conditions. These plants are plants that are found living in certain moderate deserts, and in these deserts, due to the water scarcity and high temperatures and extreme heat, the plant have certain adaptations. The presence of leaves are absent. Leaves are modified into spines because leaves will lead to heavy transpiration and wilting and eventual death of the plant. So as green structures or green colored leaves are not present, chlorophyll containing leaves are absent, the stem becomes green. The stem gets filled with the chlorophyll containing plastid or chloroplast, and it is the stem that performs the function of photosynthesis. Also, these stems are succulent. They store water in them, so they are fleshy with storage of water in them, and they are flat structures. So these are the phylloclads. They are flat, fleshy, water storing, green colored stems possessing chloroplast performing photosynthesis, and are found in plants growing in the deserts. The next one is the cladode. Cladode are the stems which are actually a type of phylloclad which we have just mentioned. When a phylloclad has only one or two internodes, it becomes a cladode. So we can see here in this plant asparagus, on the main stem there are these modified stems that are given off at regular intervals, and a whirl of such modified stems are found here, and these are the cladodes because each cladode has just a single internode. So if the phylloclad has one or two internodes, it becomes a cladode. Then the final aerial modification of a stem is the bulbil. So here we find these are axillary buds, and in this plant lilium, these axillary buds have become fleshy. So these fleshy axillary buds are bulbils, and these bulbils can give rise to new plants. They are not only for producing branches, they are capable of producing new plants. We can see that here a bulbil starts giving off roots even when it is attached to the parent plant. So these are the different types of stems based on modification. Thank you very much for listening to this video of mine, and in the next video we will be discussing about leaves and its peculiarities. Thank you very much.